Well, nothing worse than shooting a long unboxing video only to realize you weren't freaking recording. So, all the stories, all the drama of reveal, all gone. Well, the first thing I unboxed was this little guy. Little component tester, and this one's in color. You can identify transistors, triacs. Of course, the fridge finally turns back on. I think this came with it. No, this is something else. These little cords came with it, and I'm kind of mystified. I think this came with it too. A little capacitor, a little LED, and some pins. I think that's part of that kit, maybe just from some test components or something. This little tiny thing here has like a USB end on it. And then I finally figured out this is the AT85 I ordered. I did a lot of projects with the AT Tiny 85. Several years ago now. Well, not several, but maybe over a year ago. I had a series on Arduino. I am going to revisit that series. I was hoping to already be into that, but life is staying too busy. In fact, I may get into another drama before I go back into Arduino at this point. That may, well, who knows. I need to rebuild a computer, and that's going to be a whole other story too. Anyway, instead of that little 8-pin dip, this is a surface mount on a little tiny PC board, and also USB circuitry, and another little chip, all integrated on one tiny little board. You can do your AT85 tiny project, AT Tiny 85 project, all on the side of your computer, where you wouldn't even notice it's happening. It'd be almost like a simulator, except it's real. I guess you can connect. There's little eyelets around the edges, so you can connect all your pins and use your output pins. Dang, that's pretty sweet. And they're cheap. I'm not sure what I paid exactly, but not much. Also electronics. These are empty packages. I got these weird things out of nowhere. I think this is the gift I got from the people. I'm expecting a meter to come in. I was hoping it would come in today and be part of this video. I didn't get an email today. It was weird. The lady just zipped down our street real fast. She came early. She zipped all the way to the back of the block and zipped out. She only visited one mailbox. These are condoms for your remotes. It took me a while to figure out what the heck was going on with these. This is really crazy, although I'm the kind of crazy guy who used to keep all his remotes in their original bags just to keep them from getting too crapped up. So I used to do that. And I actually probably will use these up north. The one remote that controls my digital TV box, I did a video on that too, where it's just a little TV converter that that you can use on an analog TV even, which is not what I'm doing. I'm using the HDMI out on it. I'm using it as a DVR and everything else for that TV. Mostly I use it to bring media from downstate here that I can record onto SD cards and load SD cards into that little digital box and watch them up north. So I come down here and I cram on the internet and I watch them up there at my leisure. So then I got into the other mystery bag, which turned out to be snowboard bindings, and I have to repair snowboard bindings on one of my snowboards. I have a more modern binding. It's got it's all blue plastic base, which is an advantage because it's metal. Under certain conditions, snow will stick to it and build up. It'd be a little bit of a problem with this older version of the binding. And in the picture I saw this little scuff here, and they're used bindings, and they were listed as used bindings, but these have never been used. These are new old stock. I'm kind of flabbergasted. It's pretty cool. I'm probably going to put these on my second snowboard. Sacrifice the old pair I have on the second snowboard now, which are also clickers. This is called a clicker binding, so step-in binding for snowboarding. You have to get a special boot to fit onto these, and basically the stiffness is in the boot and the binding connection. They work quite well. If I was living out west, I'd probably go more conventional, but for living in Michigan where the hills are short and you got to keep going up and down the lift, literally 1 minute down, 3 minutes up, you know, even at Cabernet, which is a fairly decent hill for lower Michigan here. So it's a lot of up and down. It's just not worth it to sit in the snow plant your butt in the snow with the kids, you know, and dink around, jacking on your boot, on your binding. For Michigan, you need to click in. Then I got into the spa stuff. This box is from a company called Spa Depot. And I may include a video that I shot and didn't put in my last pump video, where I did a little ad for these guys, because they've got something called Spaclopedia on their website. And Spaclopedia was extremely useful for my whole ordeal on the hot tub pump and finding out the different way to size things. I ended up not getting my hot tub pump from Spa Depot Depot, I know how to say it. I just like saying Depot. Anyway, I ended up going to spaguts.com for my hot tub pump. It was a few dollars more expensive than the one Spa Depot had. And also it just looked a little heavier duty, was the main thing, really, honestly. It looked like a little heavier duty pump. And probably because the stickers ain't XP2. But the thing that really decided for me is a couple negative reviews on the one that Spa Depot had, or pretty negative review on a couple of them. Most people were happy with their pump, but a couple weren't. Out of a fairly limited pool of reviews, though. So that was kind of, yeah. And then I called them to find out what the warranty was. It was only a year on the Spa Depot's pump, and which was a waterway, I believe, pump. This is a Aquaflow from these guys, spaguts.com, and I think this came all the way from out west, whereas these guys are in Florida. Probably been a little bit quicker. I could have also got a pump from Michigan that I saw on eBay, and that's the other story. It was a 2-horse though, and I don't know if I can go 2-horse in that little spa. I was tempted to get another one on eBay that was 2-horse as well. For the best price I've seen, $229, that would have been a very economical pump to buy, but I just don't know if I can handle 2-horse. This is a 1.5 horse. My original was 1 horse. So I am upgrading my power. I've got plenty of power on my jets. I don't want to get almost too much on the main jets when everything's open and flowing. That's what the existing pump I had. But I really want to be able to neck down those, instead of having all open all the time. If I close down the ones that are the most intense, I'll valve them down a little with the inserts I got so my valves will work again. In this kit, I bought the new, I'll go through that again. So this is a Gerber Alliance Aquaflow XP2. Just looked a little heavier duty, and the big thing was a 2-year warranty, not a 1-year warranty. And that was really the deciding factor. Also, that it has these hand ones you can do. Then you can, I guess I could get it in my hand if I get it loose and tape it or whatever. That'll make it easier to prime and stuff. Especially after. And the other thing, this one came with a cord, and the cord looks like it might even be compatible. I'm going to have to check pin by pin to make sure that I'm really compatible. You know, that really clicks in the same way, and I've really got the same colors. And high speed, low speed, neutral, and ground is the way my current setup is. I'm going to have to change the neutral to L2 because this is a 240 volt pump. I deliberately bought a 240 volt pump. So I'm going to have to add a new wire to my controller unit, which I've already hacked in previous videos. And that's why I'm going back into Arduino eventually, is I'm going to add some control to that controller, because what I've done now is basically a power controller. It has no logic whatsoever, no sensory logic at all. It's all manual. But I'm going to do an Arduino project to control the temperature of that hot tub eventually. So that's that on that. These are a couple nozzles I got from Spa Depot. One of them is broken and one for a spare. A pump isolation, which I don't have right now, was just bolted straight to the floor of the hot tub cabinet. This will pad it a little bit. It should quiet down a little bit. So that'll be a nice little improvement. Might be quieter than my old one. A couple of gaskets. A lot of people try to hold you up on those pretty well. And these are the little valves that sit behind these guys. These plug into these. They can be a devil to get out of the socket, but if you can't control water flow anymore, you gotta break the old one out and put a new one in. So that's pretty much my haul here. And I still didn't get my little meter. Also received these fuses. I believe this was an Amazon. And I know these are legit because they're in their bubble pack, which the non-legit ones usually aren't. Plus it's got a security tag in the back. My capacitor is a diode. Oh no. Well, I guess I have to read up on this a little bit. Not sure why it showed the capacitor as a diode. I'll guess I have to read up a little bit more on this unit as to how to use it. Others have done reviews on this. I may come back and do a little bit more of a review on it if anything comes to interest on it in trying to use it, or if anybody wants me to. So at a job I had 30 years ago, at a storage locker, in the little marble stones they had around the little trees they had for arborvitaes, they had, you know, row arborvitaes for a windscreen and a view screen. I found all these caps around the little marble racks someone had just dumped. Taiwanese, well, I wouldn't say Ritchie on them. It's more than one brand probably. But man, these have all been good caps. A lot of them are non-polarized. Probably this one isn't marked non-polarized, but it's shaped non-polarized. But I got some that are marked non-polarized as well. And I don't use them for anything serious, but I got a whole pile of them that I picked up back then, and I've never found a bad one. It just goes to show good capacitors last. There's no excuse for these crappy caps these days. Oh, it turned to green. It was red. It's finally charged up, I guess. And this time I test the capacitor, and it shows exactly what it is. Within tolerance. It even shows ESR, which is kind of amazing. Probably not as close as my other meter will show it. You know, my little ESR detector shows all zeros here. But if it was seriously bad, it would show it. So that's pretty cool.